Hey, Yuri back with Big Lud's Barbecue. We're gonna throw in a brisket tonight. Cooking in a competition next weekend, KCBS. So it's good to run through your stuff. So I'm gonna kind of show you how to do a nice competition brisket from start to finish. Throw that on the smoker. We got the mob here, so we'll feed tomorrow. I'm gonna trim it up real lean where it's a competition. I'm gonna do a few things a little bit different. You want your flat about the size of the box. I'm gonna leave it a little bigger just because I'm cooking this to feed everybody tomorrow. But like I said, it's good to go through your times and stuff and do it. Bad part is I just took all my knives from my buddy who's a butcher who sharpened them all for the weekend. But anyway, we'll go through it. So I'm gonna trim. I'm gonna take that big eye out there, just a lot of fat. And like I said, I'm gonna trim this back pretty dang good for that competition and let it go. We're gonna season it up. We're gonna inject it. We made some money Au Jus sauce out of some prime rib bones. We threw that up on the video too, or we will. But that just kind of the difference. And I'll show you how we're gonna inject that. So you see the flat, I wanna get all this silver skin. I'm gonna take all this fat off of that flat end. So, you know, you guys have done briskets, you know how it is. It kind of makes you sick at the end when you see what you cut off. I'm gonna square that off, like I said. If I was in that box, you don't cut that exact for that box, for that flat, and we're gonna do burnt ends out of the point. This is just a choice brisket I picked up at Smith's for the competition. We got a couple primes and I got a Wagyu that we'll cook. Wasatch Wagyu, you guys rock. They hooked us up with big old nice brisket for that. So appreciate Wasatch Wagyu. Hit those guys online. Go get you some brisket that'll just knock your socks off. So anyway, we're gonna take that off, expose a little meat, get that top down. Like I said, I'm gonna trim it pretty good. I want that nice and smooth too, so that smoke rolls over. You don't want to leave any sharp edges and stuff that will catch and just burn up. We just want to make that as nice and tight as we can. Get all that out. Like I said, it's a little harder with not having my knives, but we'll get there. Anyway, and like I said, if you guys are looking to compete and stuff, it's great to get out there. Got a couple new guys coming with us this time on the team. That's a great way to do it. Find some guys that are cooking, get to know them. Say, hey, do you mind if I go hang out and cook with you? And most guys will hook you up. So it'll be a fun weekend out in Kanab, Utah. So I'm gonna trim that up. I'll finish that. Let me just show you on the other side. We're gonna take this big old fat cap pretty well off. We'll leave just a touch on this flat, but we're gonna trim all of this. We're gonna take that down, take all that off. That's just fat that won't render. It's no good. There's no sense of putting smoke on it and seasoning on it and then cut it off before you put it in your judge's box. So anyway, so I'm gonna trim this off, trim the other side, and then I'll come back and we'll show you what we did. All right, so we got that trimmed up. Like I said, went pretty lean for competition. I'm gonna do a few things different than what if I'm just cooking myself at home. Got that trimmed up. I'm gonna separate, I'm gonna cook it like this for about 6-7 hours. Build up a good bark, get a little smoke, and then I'm gonna separate that point and the flat. Now this one's only 14 pounds. Competitions, the ones I'm cooking on, I'm getting a bigger brisket. They're 19, 20 pound briskets and give me better points and stuff. But this will be good for tonight to get us rolling. So that's what we're doing. We've trimmed all that up. I've cut this so I can separate those easy. That fat line just runs underneath there. That point's gonna come right off. But I'm gonna store them together. That'll keep my flat. I'm just looking for 6 slices. You can see the grains run this way. So when I slice that, see those grains? How those are running like this? So when I slice it, I'm gonna slice it like this. So my 6 good pieces are coming right here. Okay, the point's opposite. They're running this way. So as I make my burnt ends, I'm gonna slice like this and then make those checkers. So that's kind of how it's sliced. Now we'll season it up. All I use is salt, pepper, and garlic for a coat of that, and then the Montreal steak seasoning, which I like. And that's it. And then we're gonna shoot it up. We made our own Au Jus with a bunch of prime rib bones. We're gonna load that thing up, let it sit for about an hour, and then I'm throwing it on the smoker. All right, we're just gonna give it a nice layer of that salt, pepper, and garlic. It's a big piece of meat. It can take on some good seasoning. So hit that. Try to get as even as we can, especially in this competition. You don't want to get a big bite of gross stuff. Like I said, we've got that fat peeled back to where we're getting smoke and seasoning on meat. We'll hit that. Boom, come over the top of that. That's too slow. There you go. That's better. So we'll hit that all the way down. Make sure we don't have any holes or crevices. We don't want a big socket full of stuff. Then you just want to pat that in a little bit. We're going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing, and then we'll inject it. All right, so we got that seasoned up good, got all the spots. Now we're going to inject it. That's where it's going to give us that extra flavor that, you know, gets us the money. We made our own. We broke down prime rib bones and meat with some celery and carrots and stuff. Let that sit and kind of simmer all day long. Now we're going to fill this up with it and let it sit for about an hour here before we throw it in the smoker. Now you can checkerboard it, where you just go every couple inches all the way down across that. I'm going to try that tonight to see what kind of marks my needle leaves, so I can see if I can do that. If not, if your needle's leaving marks where it's jacked up, then just come in the side here like that, and then you can just inject into those sides and come around there. That way you're not leaving that checkerboard. So I'm kind of going to do a little bit of both tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and checkerboard it too, just to see if that's leaving needle marks that I can see later when I'm doing it. I want to be careful too that your marinade's the same color as your meat. You're not getting something orange on there to chicken or brisket or something that gives it off flavor. So we're just gonna go like that every couple inches. I'm gonna hit that. We're just gonna get as much seasoning as we can in there. We're just one down there, one up there. We're just gonna come all the way along. So on the point, let me show you that point. Get a little air coming in there. On this point, same thing, I'm gonna get it down. It's gonna run long against those grains with it. So I'm gonna run down there, you see that filling up. I'll let it squirt you there. Okay, and that's it. So I'm gonna run a few more down there around the side. I'm gonna let that sit for an hour or so, and then I'm gonna put it on the smoker at 230. I'm not gonna touch it for 6 hours, so we'll see in 6 hours. All right, so that's been on for a little over 7 hours. Should be rolling real smoke. Yeah, that looks, that's set. Got a good, nice crust on that great bark. Should have great smoker, and that's why I turned down 230 instead of 250. We're gonna take it off now. We're gonna separate that and then put it back on at 250, 275. So let's pull that off. All right, so we got it off the smoker. Like I said, it's got a great bark on it. This is gonna turn out nice. I'm gonna separate them. Normally I don't, I'm just cooking for myself, but on this, when I'm doing competition, I wanna be able to get that flat, exactly the right temperature and the point. So I don't wanna overcook one or the other. I don't have a great point. Like I said, it's a lot smaller brisket than I'd cook at a competition, but we'll get some burn ends out of that. So I'm gonna separate those and then just wrap them up. So I started that really good before, so it's real easy to cut. I'm just coming right along there, finding that seam, and I'll separate those two pieces. So there we go. So here's our flat. It's actually got a pretty good flat on that one. Like I said, kind of a little point, but he'll make us a few burn ends. And then I'm gonna take my Au Jus we made out of those prime rib bones, and I'm just gonna put about a half a cup on that, and just let that. That's why I'm wrapping in tin foil. Normally I'll wrap in butcher paper, but for this I'm gonna wrap in foil because I want to really get that meat flavor and that moisture into that meat. So that's why I'm doing tin foil today, when usually you'll watch me, I'll wrap butcher paper for a brisket. But we're gonna do tin foil. We've got a great bark. We're going a little bit longer to build that, and now we'll just wrap it up. See if it runs away. Come your way. And there you go. Okay, that looks great. We'll double wrap that just in case we spring a leak, but it should be good. We're gonna put this back on 275 now and run it till it's done. Like I said, that flattened point might be good done a little different. We'll show you how we're gonna make burn ends out of that point, the flat. When it's done, we'll throw it in the cooler for a little while and let it roll. Okay, so we'll do the same thing there. Don't get some Au Jus, see if I can not run it all over the counter. We're just doing, hit a good spot of that all over that. Man, that's got good flavor. I mean, that's just prime stuff right there. All right, that should be enough. See if we can wrap that before it runs away. And back in. Just like that. That looks good. Just like that. We're in business. Okay, we're going to smoke that till it hits, well, 200, 205, really till it's tender. We're gonna see if that thing just goes in like butter, but we're gonna end up around 203, 200, 205, somewhere in there. So we're gonna put those back on and just wait till they're done. We'll probably check them in about 4 hours. All right, so we got our, here's our point here. They cooked, that point was done in about 3 hours. Got it to about 203, nice and tender. So I threw it in the cooler. It's been in the cooler for about an hour. It's still real hot. That flat took a little longer. I just pulled it off, threw it in the cooler, and it's good now too. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple hours and just let it hang out. So now we're gonna make burn ends. So I've got this point here. Little goodness, you see all the juice in there from that Au Jus sauce. Like I said, it's not a big, I think it's tender. It's not a big, huge point, but it's gonna make us some burn ends if I can get that out of here. All right, perfect, there you go. So, I'm gonna get that out of the way, and we're gonna make some nice burn ends. So this, remember it runs this way, our grains are running this way towards me and you. So I'm gonna cube that. So I'm gonna come along the top, and I wanna make about inch by inch cubes. And this is a horrible knife. Like I said, all mine are getting sharpened, but that cuts that nice. So that's just taking beautiful slices out of there. We're gonna check our smoke ring right here too, see how we did on that. But it should be, this little brisket's coming together pretty nice. Come in right here, let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's a good, that's got a good smoke ring up and down, juicy. That looks good. So we're just gonna make cubes now. So I'm gonna come down this way. I'm just doing about inch by inch cubes. It might be a touch big, but that's all right. Now with competition, I wanna do my best to get them exact. See how these two are about the exact same square size? That's good little competition ones right there. In my box, I'm looking to do 6 pieces of brisket, 6 burn ends. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put these burn ends back on the smoker. So I'm gonna put these back in this tin. I'm gonna put them in for at 250 for about an hour, maybe a tad longer. We're kind of see how they go. Those things are still piping hot. It's been in the cooler for an hour or so. But you know, I'm looking at pretty good burn ends through there. I mean, they're just tender. I'm not gonna squeeze them because I don't want to squeeze that on my juice. I want to keep it in there. But there, I mean, I could eat that right now and that's as good as it gets. But I'm gonna try to build a little more bark, a little more flavor. When I'm on a competition, is I try to keep brisket just as true as I can. And just salt, pepper, and garlic, a little bit of that that Montreal steak seasoning, and then my homemade Au Jus that I made out of those out of that prime rib. And so I might not even sauce my burn ends. I'm gonna put some more Au Jus on them and I'll cook them. And then I do that when I compete. At the end, I'll make sauce too, and I'll make sauce tomorrow. But if they're perfect and it's just got a good meaty flavor and they're great, I don't even sauce them. I'm just gonna turn it in like that. If I sauce it, it's gonna be just lightly sauced. I want that meat to speak for itself. I've got to, you know, that, like I said, Wasatch Wagyu. I hooked us up with a brisket. Those guys are awesome. Hit him online, but you know, I want that brisket to speak, man. I got a Wagyu brisket that's worth a chunk of change. I don't want to, you know, dump Uncle Al's 99-cent barbecue sauce on it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make some sauce that's out of the world. I might even film that. But if it's good, I'm leaving it. Okay, so there's our burn ends. So I've got them sitting in there. I mean, you can see that. I mean, look at that good smoke ring. I mean, this brisket really did come together. I mean, that's nice and tender. That's gonna be juicy. So I'm just gonna dump a little jag of this beef stock, au jus, whatever you want to call it. This beef stock we made out of that prime rib. I did a video on that. I'm just gonna hit them with that, and that's gonna soak up a lot of flavor. I don't want to drown them, but almost drown them. There you go. That's it. They're gonna work there. I'm gonna throw them on for about a half hour. I'm gonna stir them up a little bit. Roll that for about an hour at 250, and we'll see where we're at. We'll see. All right, we got our brisket done, our competition brisket. So now we box 6 slices of our brisket and 6 burn ends. So our burn ends, take a look at those cats, dude. Can you get in close on those? So they look awesome. Got a little au jus sauce. I didn't know a sauce on these at all, on either one of them. I'll make sauce later this week for the competition this weekend, but I might not use them. These things look money right there. So anyway, they look good. We'll sample those. We'll slice the brisket. Like I said, I'm looking at this piece about the size of a box that you put it in. I won't box it today because I don't have Steve and he's the box guy. But we're just going to slice that and try to get about pencil width 6 slices that look amazing. And like I said, my knives I sent a buddy to sharpen, so don't judge me on this knife skill because it's not sharp. So anyway, yeah, it's really dull. I should try to sharpen a little bit before I start cutting, but we'll do our best with what we have, right? Normally that knife you just want to pull across there in one swipe, and that should just cut one slice, not have to saw a little bit. Brisket feels good though. All right, so now I'm getting into my money pieces. So now I want to pay more attention, get my thickness right, make sure my knife's the right angle, and I want to get 6 real nice ones. Now we'll smoke 2 or 3 briskets to get these 6 pieces. So if we mess up, there's redemption, I guess, right? But anyway, we're just looking for 6 beautiful pieces, and then I turn it over to my buddy Steve, and he gets his kale and all those vegetable things ready in the box. Don't worry, we don't eat the vegetables. That would kill a dead horse. But we just use that for presentation, as they say. But anyway, that brisket feels good. It temped out just right. 203. It's been in the cooler for a couple hours, and it's ready to go. So I'll slice the rest of that, but I just want to see what we got as far as smoke ring. So there we go. So there's a nice, look at the nice smoke ring there. It's got a good smoke ring all the way around that. You do the bend test. So you want to bend that over your finger, over your knife even better. So that bends nice. And then they're going to pull it. They're just going to grab it, and it should just pull just like that. So with just a little tug, and that should pull. So that's good brisket. You guys want to sample that, don't you? This is Mike, my son-in-law, Chase, my daughter. You guys have a taste of that?
Yes.
Anyway,
You're out, Markel.
So that's our. Let me run it this way. There you go, Markel. Don't tell anybody. Sneak in there. But how's it taste?
Fantastic.
Blog.com.
Can I have some more?
Can I have some more?
Please send me a house more.
So, does it taste good for reals?
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. All right, Markel, good.
I could eat this whole thing. This could be my plate. And I'd be fine.
That one got a little thick,
Well, you got like a cool, like smoky, peppery flavor.
but yeah, it feels good,
Falls
dude.
apart.
Sydney, you got to be on camera if you don't steal
turn
something.
around, Sydney.
Turn around, Sydney. My youngest daughter just got her wisdom teeth out, so she's Chucky the cheese, little monster there with her big old cheeks. Stuff that in one of those cheeks. All right, come taste. You got to try burn ends before you leave. You two or somebody. All right. So, like I said, burn ends in that au jus. You can just grab it like a rabbit or spoon it out or
I got the
whatever.
biggest piece I could find. Don't worry, guys.
All right. Don't touch my piece. I don't want any crony on me.
No promises.
How's that?
Holy crap.
I don't know if you can say holy crap on video, but she just did.
I don't
It's
know which one
America. I
I
can
like
do whatever
better.
I want.
Well, that's huge.
Anyway, okay, so Hey, that's a great brisket. Like I said, we're getting ready for the competition this weekend. Dude, it looks. I gotta try that, dude. That's too good. Now.
way good.
Dude, if we don't win, these judges suck. We'll see if we win. If we lose, we won't see you for a week or two. Subscribe, Big Let's Barbecue. Catch you later.